you ain't saved. You ain't a Christian, because if you was, you wouldn't be living the way you are. But they forgot about when they were in sin. That's why Paul says, why behold the beam that's in your brother's eye when you got a big beam in your eye? He said, first, take the beam or the mote out of your eye, and then watch what he say. Then you will see clearly. In other words, when God delivers you from something and you see somebody else being destroyed by the thing that destroyed you before you came to God, you don't go at them like, you gonna go to hell, shut up. You used to do that mess. Somebody slap you in your face. I'll punch you in your mouth acting like that, like you ain't never been out there before. Shut up. Jesus said, then you will see clearly. In other words, when you see somebody that got caught up or is involved in something that used to destroy you and mess your relationship up with God, that would destroy your family and everything, your whole future and destiny, now you should be out of a heart of compassion and be like, look, I'm not telling you what to do or how to do it, but let me tell you about me. I was out there, I was doing this, and that, and as a result of trying to get quick fixes, and as a result of not submitting to God and giving my life to God for whatever reason, these are the ramifications of things I did to myself. Now, I'm not trying to condemn you or judge you, but I'm telling you what happened to me, and I wouldn't want that to happen to you. So I'm going to pray for you, because you don't want to look back like I've done now, had to do, and say, I wish I would have listened to somebody back then. But man, I love you. I'm praying for you. And I'm telling you, I'm believing God is going to deliver you just like he delivered me. That's how we got to handle people. We got to, religious people, they forget where God brought them from. And all they can do is judge and criticize. That's their whole life. But I'm going to get there. I ain't done yet. I'm going. All right. Now, it says, I fast twice in the week. Oh, this is my favorite part. I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. Hold up. I'm going to deal with that in a minute. But let me just say this. The funniest thing to me in the world is when I'm in a barbershop. This is where it mainly happens. And dudes be in there, brothers like, be in there saying stuff like this. It just kills me. They say, man, I pay child support. I'm like, hello? You pay what? I pay child support. And I'd be like, so that means you have a child? Yeah. Well, dummy, you supposed to pay child support. Why are you acting like we supposed to give you a trophy for doing what you're supposed to do? I don't understand that ghetto mindset. Like, we supposed to send you a check for taking care of the child you made. You supposed to take care of it. It's your baby. Hello? that just blows me away. But Paul said, present your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. This dude in this prayer, he's like, I fast and I give my tithes. Hello? Whoop. Hello? You supposed to. I didn't know that it was an option for a Christian, for a person that's connected to God, not to pray, not to fast, not to give tithes and offerings. That's an oxymoron. I didn't know we were supposed to give you an award for doing that. It's your reasonable service. We ain't supposed to salute you for doing what God commanded you to do, fool. What? Folk is crazy. You're supposed to fast. You're supposed to pray. You're supposed to give your tithes and your offerings. It's what God commands us to do. So I didn't know we were supposed to write you a check and put you up on a platform and say, hey, they do this. But that's what this dude is doing. And guess who calling him on the carpet? Not Pastor Stewart. Jesus is calling him on the carpet. So you don't get mad at somebody. Get mad. All I'm doing is saying what Jesus said. He said, I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. Oh, let me bring this up because I've told you this before in another video. I do a lot. For years, I've studied the Jewish culture. I got so much Jewish stuff in my house. Culture. I love the culture of how God dealt with Israel when he called them out and how he had them do certain things and what all that symbolized. And I just love it. But not their traditions, the way God had deemed them to be. So wait a minute. He said fast twice a week. That's what I want to deal with. Not only did a Jew pray 3 times a week, but they fasted twice a week. But guess what? This blew me away. They fast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They purposely did that. Oh my God, this is going to blow you away. They purposely set their fast days up that way. You know why? Here you go. Big secret. That was the day all the people went to the market to buy everything they needed. So when the people came down to the market, these Pharisees, these religious folks, they dressed a certain way. They tried to look like they was religious. They wanted everybody to know by how they dress and their attitude that we're different than you. They wanted everybody to see how religious they were versus that they weren't. Like, why ain't y'all looking like us? Why ain't you dressing like us? Why ain't you walking around fasting like us? Why you out here buying food? You should be. In other words, they were saying, unless you're doing what I'm doing, you don't got a right relationship with God. Oh my Lord. I'm telling you, religious people are dangerous. And I don't care if they say they saved or not. A lot of folks that say they saved are religious. And they know. I'm talking to them now. If they're watching this, I'm talking to them now. They know they are. They know they've got cases, but they don't consider themselves. Like this guy didn't consider himself in that case. He considered the way he dressed, how many times he went to church, the fact that all of this in his mind, this make me say, now, let me just go back real quick. He says, I thank God that I ain't an adulterer. Oh my God, OMG. Watch out whenever you hear a man or a woman in church or ministering always saying something like this. I ain't never cheated on my wife. I ain't never cheated on my husband. Like this man in here, for them that means holiness. Their whole thing is, because I didn't do this, I'm better than you. I'm sanctified. I'm filled with the Holy Ghost. Okay, let's say they didn't do that. That ain't got nothing to do with you being mean, evil, judgmental, all those things. There was a guy that went to hell in the Bible. He didn't commit any adultery. What happened was he opened up his eyes in hell, the Bible said, because when he was living on earth, Jesus put a situation in front of him, a man that was begging for food at his table, and he felt like, I don't need to do that. That ain't him being poor ain't my issue. I ain't got to take care of him. And God allowed a dog to come and lick the man's wound. And at the end of the day, when they both died, y'all know the story. It says that rich man, he ended up in hell. But that other man, that beggar, the one who he felt that wasn't his responsibility in life, he ended up in Abraham's bosom. What I'm saying is, there are people, they make their whole world off of what they didn't do. They always talking about, I ain't never slept with nobody. I ain't never messed around. That is the end of their salvation. That's all they can talk about. But they are so religious. They're so, they drive me nuts. You'll be surprised at the people who think that I'm not saved or my wife's not saved or Christians, because when we go on vacation, my wife put on a swimming suit. I didn't know that my wife was supposed to wear a conference dress or a gown with glitter in it and a big bell hat on her head, looking like Tinkerbell. But my wife ain't wearing that crap. Matter of fact, she's my wife, number one. And number two, somebody say, well, okay, she could wear a swimming suit, but she ought to just, wear the kind where you can't see. And I'm saying to myself, they sound like James. James was so mad at the Apostle Paul about the Gentiles who had received Christ, and he couldn't understand their freedom and liberty in God. He just got some man that said, okay, all right, we'll accept them, but make sure that they abstain from fornication and meats offered to. He couldn't think of nothing else. He was that frustrated. Religious people always want to put and impose what they feel they should impose on somebody else. So let me get going here. It says, and the publican standing afar off, the sinner guy, he in the house God too. He wouldn't look up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. This guy said, Lord, I don't care who in the church is fronting on me, who in the church is looking at me funny like I'm the low down dirty dog. I know I belong in your house, because this is the only place and you're the only person gonna give me and grant me mercy. Let me just say something right there. There are people that don't go to church, and here's their number one excuse. People look at me funny. They always just, shut up, stop being a wimp. You're a 21st century weak person. You got a lot of mouth on Facebook. You always want to get in somebody's face. You always want to tell somebody, check somebody. Take your butt to church then. Stop worrying about who looking at you funny, and shut up. Somebody looking at you funny on your job. You don't quit your job. You don't go to your boss and put in a pink slip and be like, I can't work here no more because she's looking at me funny. No, you need that paycheck, so your butt gonna stay there. So stop being deep and crazy. Go to church, okay? It's devils everywhere. You might be one. Stop all that. Grow up. Okay. So now, anyway,